Hello, welcome to a video lecture that I've put together for you with some additional thoughts on our assignment that we're working on right now, the online review, and wanted to kind of look at online review sites, quote unquote, in the wild and examine them for some common features, and also talk about composing this and putting it together, so how we're going to go about doing that. So first of all, I wanted to draw your attention to the announcement that I sent to you earlier this afternoon, that I've compiled this list of review sites and linked them up to our Unit 3, put them in the content area as well. So you can get to those a couple of different ways, and one of them is going through the content area, or especially I think if you're on a handheld device, going down here into the content browser, and then Unit 3 online review, and there's the week 10 module, and there's the assignment sheet, and here is the link to the online review sites, and follow that link and you'll see the review sites pop up there. So there's a pretty good list of them here, so I'm not going to talk about every one of them, but I would encourage you to look at them and familiarize yourself with them. And one of the things that I want you to do with this assignment is think about where you might publish this online review, and then try to model some of the features on that site so that you can make it look like it could just be slapped in to that web page. So sounds like a bit of a challenge, but we'll get through it. And so let's talk about how to do that. So let me go ahead and go to the first online review site here, Amazon.com. Okay, so everyone's familiar with Amazon and was thinking about looking at a particular product or something and seeing what people have to say about it. So right here at the top, we see the Echo product. I know that Amazon was originally kind of books and music and movies, but certainly branched out beyond that. Okay, and so here's the product page for the Echo. And so you're pretty familiar with this, but let's go over some of it. We do get a product image. In fact, we get several product images down here on the side. And typically we get a video as well. We can also, let me go back to that product image, hover over it and see it in greater detail. Not going to expect you to do these types of things, too complicated, but just be aware that there is a product image. And they have this nice feature that it looks like it changes to different models. So we've got the name of the product up here, and we see the rating, and 4.4 out of 5 stars. When you hover over it, you kind of see that there's a high percentage of 5-star ratings and a pretty low percentage of 1-star ratings. So looks like a good product. Again, I wouldn't expect your document to have this type of feature on it, but we do have number of customer reviews and 32,000. Pretty huge number. So we also have a little tag that Amazon puts on it as Amazon Choice, and some more information, some details about the product. Over here in the far right hand column, we have that you could add it to your shopping cart or something, or to your wish list. Okay, so within this product page, we have reviews. We do have some more product information, but I think getting down to where we have the actual customer reviews, they do have this side-by-side comparison, which is neat. I sometimes consult that. Some Q&A, we don't have to worry too much about that. But then we get down to the customer reviews, and we see they gave it 5 stars, a little bit of a headline for it, and some information on what they're reviewing. And then when we hit read more, oftentimes on some of these online sites, we don't get real extensive reviews. I think the fact that this looks like it's only 3 paragraphs, it's actually quite a bit of text, but certainly I don't want you to do 3 paragraphs or something like that. And we do need to make it substantial with the review. But we do see that there's some common features for reviews on Amazon, pretty consistent format throughout. Every now and then you get a really long review, but you also get some really short reviews. And part of that might be, especially when we talk about things like Yelp, restaurant reviews, that people are doing typing those reviews with their thumbs. So they're out and about, maybe waiting on their table at a restaurant, and so they're typing up a review while they sit. So, okay, this one has a video, and I think that's about it in terms of Amazon. So let's take a look at another example. Okay, and so this site is GameSpot, and we see their logo up here at the top. We see the different platforms, reviews, news, entertainment, forums, sign in, and also we see reviews right here. They're kind of featuring this one, but we see these others as well. And just from this page, we notice, it's kind of a little teaser to get you involved in it. But we also do see the overall rating right away, which is nice. So, it looks like Blackbird. Why mess with it? Let's go ahead and go to this first review that they have here. Okay, so when we get to the review, again, we have a large image at the top. Again, we have the banner and the navigation, top-level navigation up here. And we also see this clearly labeled as a review. And so frequently with reviews, they are clearly labeled. And then the title of this review. And we see the first release and reviewed in the format. And then probably a bit unusual to have an editor's note, but we get that. And then we get into the review, introduction. We see some social media links over here. Pretty quickly, we get an image from the game, a screen capture. And we also see that there's some more images down here. So we can click on these, look at the different images. For your essay, I would, if you decided to emulate GameSpot, I would just expect like occasional images like this. Don't need to worry yourself about these thumbnail type images, because we're not going to make it that functional as a visual document. So not interactive other than just reading it. So, but this is nice that they have these scenes, and then we get more of the review. We do kind of get to sections like this where there's a lot of just text, and so probably need to break it up a little bit more. But then we do get some more visuals, and we do get a nice pull quote right here, and I think they should have done that previously as well. And then we get the end of it, and then we get a summary of it down here. So the good, the bad, and what they're rating it. And these are things we can kind of expect on a lot of review sites. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Okay, this website is called Goodreads, and I've joined the website, but I don't use it that often. And so I noticed, like right here, updates, no more updates. So I'm not on it very often, but it's a community for book readers. And so people read books and write reviews about them and like each other's selections and recommend things to each other and such. And but I guess kind of as a book worm site, I don't find it, very warm and fuzzy as a community, but that's another matter. It's just kind of, people post reviews and read reviews and such, but doesn't feel like a community necessarily. So, and so I've had some things up here for a while about what I was currently reading. Now we're on to some recommendations here. And so it is nice that it does things like that, recommends text to you. And so it's recommending this book. So I'm going to go click on that. Okay, and then when I get to the page for the book, we see certain things. Again, a product image. We have some extra stuff down here. We have a title, who wrote the review, a little more of a title right here, and the first paragraph or so of the review, and then we click on more, and then we get the rest of it. And again, not a very long review. We're going to work on making ours a bit longer, but there are some common features with this site. Logo up in the top left, top level navigation bar, and typically we can find the review in some type of a rating system pretty quickly. So 1,044 ratings, 99 reviews. So I think that's a pretty reliable rating. So anyway, that's Goodreads. Let's take a look at another site. Okay, so the Internet Movie Database, IMDb, is one of the best resources for film buffs. A lot of really good information here, and there are reviews, but you can go back and find out a lot of information. So especially good for settling arguments about who starred in what movie with whom and what was the title of it and stuff like that. So so we have a logo for the site up here. Notice it has a black background on it. There are ways to do that. And then movies, TVs, and Showtime opening this week. And pretty much you can search for anything like an actor and then get all the movies that they starred in and stuff. But I'm going to search for a particular movie. Shawshank Redemption with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. I'd say probably in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Okay. And when you get to the page for it, again, we have some features on this page. We've got the title of the movie, 1994. We see it's R-rated, 2 hours and 22 minutes, drama, and when it was released. We also see a quick view of the rating and 2 million reviews or ratings for it. So, and the option to rate it. We see options, navigation menu for this page, full cast and crew, trivia, user reviews, IMDb Pro, more. And you can also watch now, and we start to see information. There's a little, a brief synopsis of it, and then we get director and stars, etc. We get videos. I believe this video up here is a trailer for the movie. Yeah, it says so down here. And so you could click on it and watch it. What we would probably do to create a video in a Word document is maybe go find an image like this of the video, and we can do a screen grab and then insert it into the document and then crop it down to where all we see is this image of the trailer, and then make it hypertextual, which just take another step. We just need to copy link and then make that image in your document a hypertextual thing, so people will know to click on it to actually go see it. Okay, so some photos, and was looking for the reviews. There's the cast, storyline, details, box office, etc., user reviews. And so we get down here, and again, only 2 paragraphs here, so we'd want to make ours longer, but we do see things like user reviews, and there's 10 stars, the name of the movie, when it was reviewed, who it was written by. So that would be the format that I would try to follow. Okay, so let's take a look at another example or two. Okay, and so the next site I wanted to take a look at is the New York Times book reviews. So again, we have a logo and banner at the top, and we have section, header, and book reviews, and some section level navigation. We see quite a bit on this book review homepage here, but let's follow one of the links into a particular book review. So I haven't looked at this yet. A work of fiction. Let's click on that. Okay, and we finally get to the review. We have a title at the top. Again, we have the ignore this ad blocker thing up here, but a banner at the top. Fiction. Oftentimes we actually see the word review right at the start. We have a pretty strong image here, these fists, and then all these bodies tumbling. So not the cover of the book, so product image, but certainly something to grab your attention. And then we get down into the review, and there's the reviewer, the date, social media links, the title of the work, the author, pages, publisher, the price of it, and then we get into the review after that. So in the review we have a picture of the author, and finally we have a product image. So New York Times sometimes puts it at the top, sometimes embeds it in the middle like this, frequently puts it at the end. So but they do include the product image. And we have the review, and yeah, I didn't see, oftentimes they'll have more product info down at the bottom, but they don't have it here. Instead, they've got it at the top. So there's the product info there, and we saw the product image. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Okay, and so the next site that I wanted to take a look at is Pitchfork. Pitchfork is kind of like Rolling Stone, except it tends to focus primarily on music. So Rolling Stone focuses on politics and culture as well, and but it looks like they've expanded a little bit to not only be about music, but things related to music. I see a review here for the Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody, about Freddie Mercury. And so and they've got this large ad here for their own music festival at the top of the page. But we see the latest and reviews and best new music and some features, video. There we are with that. And let's go ahead and click on the review for Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, and so when we get to the Bohemian Rhapsody review page, again, we've still got this ad going on for their music festival up here at the top, but then we start getting down into the review. We have a title, what some people call a publicity shot from the movie. Usually these are released by the studio, and then we get into the review. We've got the reviewer over here, the category that it's in, some social media links. It was published 2 hours ago, it looks like. We have the trailer embedded into this, and just by looking at this, we can tell this trailer's on YouTube. So this would be easy to kind of insert into a Word document. Again, go find the image. We have it right here, but you could also go find it on YouTube. We know the link because we can just click on this. And so we would do a screen capture, stick that into your Word document, crop away everything outside of the trailer image, and then make that trailer image hypertextual, which will take people to YouTube. So, okay, going down a bit further. Pretty extensive review. This is kind of what I'm looking for. We also have, at the end, some actual footage of Freddie Mercury and Queen, and looks like that's the end of this review. So let's take a look at another example. Okay, so I talked about Rolling Stone magazine, so here we are. Somewhat similar to Pitchfork, except Rolling Stone does cover other things. We've got TV, politics, culture up here. And to get to reviews, you kind of have to tunnel down a little bit. So, so you go through the different sections, but I think just going to sneak down here a little bit and look at music and album reviews and go in that direction. Okay, and when we follow the link to the review site, this is what it looks like. And again, we've got our banner at the top. We've got what are called breadcrumbs that we can kind of see how we got to this section: home, music, album reviews. We also have the review, clearly labeled review at the beginning. And then we have the title, and we have a subheading as well. We also see the rating right away, 3 out of 5 stars, the reviewer, and we have some social media links, and then we have a picture of the band. And interestingly, we don't have a product image at this point. So after that, I think it pretty much just goes into the review. Good review, but pretty much the quick hit information is all up here at the top. Do notice things like color and in these, and we'll think about how to represent those. So I did want to talk about, for instance, a page like this, how we could make it look like a web page in Microsoft Word. So let me get that set up, and we'll see if we can kind of quickly, in just a couple of minutes, kind of replicate the look and feel of the Rolling Stone website. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so actually before we go into creating this in Microsoft Word, I did have a few notes that I wanted to talk about. So let me go back to my slides. Okay, so first of all, we just took a look at some of this and wanted to reiterate some of it. That with these online review sites, there's some common features that we see: the website banner at the top, this top level navigation bar. We also typically have a title or a headline for the review. Sometimes it even says review in it. And then we've seen the frequent use of subheadings, so like a second title. We also see use of color and graphics. Certainly we have use of images, and of course we also saw some use of videos, and we talked about that. But in terms of use of color and graphics, it's not just within the review. It's probably a lot with the banner, the headline, things that are in the sidebar and such. So, but we do have use of color and graphics, use of images and videos, product images. It's amazing how common those are. So no matter what's being reviewed, product details, we saw that as well, whether it was a book or an album or a movie, or an Echo on Amazon. We saw a lot of details. So we also saw somewhere kind of a quick view of the review. So frequent use of a familiar rating system such as stars, or Rotten Tomatoes uses tomatoes. And there's a website called newegg.com, which is about computer components and such, and they use eggs. So we saw these features, and we're going to try to make use of those. Okay. And so we're going to create this document in Microsoft Word. You're going to write your review, but then we're also going to start marking it up visually. And so we're going to take your headline and make it bigger. We're going to add a banner for the website that you're thinking about publishing this in. We want to kind of target a particular venue with this review, and so we're going to kind of represent that as much as possible. We're going to do some screen captures and put them into Microsoft Word and get it all laid out nicely as if it were a web page. And then we're going to save it as a PDF document, and that locks all the visual elements into place. And then you can open it in a PDF viewer like Adobe Acrobat, and it'll look like it's a web page at that point. So that's the effect that we're kind of going for. And part of this shows your visual literacy, that you recognize these things in a document and that you can find ways to try to recreate them in yours. We could do actual, HTML, creating a web page, but that's too much to learn, too much to teach, and so we're kind of taking a shortcut this way. So it's going to look like a web page, but it's not really going to be a web page. Okay, and so I mentioned that we're going to do screen captures. So there are a couple of ways of doing this. On a PC, you might notice that you have a key somewhere on the keyboard that it looks like it says print screen, PRT, SCR, something like that. On a laptop, it can be just about anywhere. On a desktop, typically it's kind of in that F row of keys at the top. And you would think that the print screen button would do just exactly that. That if you had your printer hooked up and you press that button, it would print what's on your screen to the nearest printer. But actually what it does is it copies what's on your screen to the computer's temporary memory, the clipboard, and then you can paste it from there. So print screen captures the entire screen. If you hold down the Alt key and hit print screen, it'll only capture the active window, whichever window is in the foreground. So on a Mac, there are a number of keyboard shortcuts for doing this. I've heard people talk about a number of different ways of doing it. But the easiest thing for me to do is use this utility that's on the Mac called Grab. And to find it, go into your Applications menu, go through Finder to Applications, and then Utilities, and then you'll see the Grab program. Click on it to open it. And you won't see a whole lot happen on your screen when you open it, but you will see the icon appear down in the dock. And I use the Grab program so much that I keep it in the dock. So it's a very handy program. Okay, so as I mentioned, the screen capture, whether on PC or Mac, is copied to the computer's temporary memory, the clipboard, and then we go into your document and do either edit paste, some type of edit paste command, Control V on the Mac, on the PC, Command V on the Mac, and it pastes it into your document. And if it's larger than the margins on the document, it'll make it, as large as the margins. So can't go beyond that. So, and with things like if you were to capture do a screen capture of a YouTube video, and then you wanted to crop it down so where it's just the image of the video, you may have to select a larger part of the screen to capture, but then just crop it down using the image editing tools in Microsoft Word. When you click on an image, you'll see those image editing tools appear at the top, and crop is one of them. So, okay, so we're going to put all this together in a Word document, and then save it as a PDF to lock those visual elements into place. Okay, so here I've got a copy of our assignment sheet, and I'm kind of treating it like raw text for this mock-up that we're going to do of a web page. So, and so that's kind of what you're going to be doing. You're going to be working on the written review, and then once you get that, I'm encouraging you to work on that as much as possible up until the rough draft stage. And then once you get that, then we'll talk about, making it a multimodal document after that. But just to allay any potential fear and anxiety about this assignment, I wanted to show you that the mock-up of a web page is not that complicated. So here's our raw text, and I'm going to go back to my web page. Okay, and so here's my web page, and I want to capture this banner at the top. I'm going to capture some of this down the side, maybe not the moving images, but and these social media things. And so the way I'm going to do it, since I'm on a Mac, is I'm going to use my Grab program. So I go down here in my dock, and there it is, Grab. And it looks like almost nothing happened on the screen. But up here at the top, we see that Grab is the program that's now open. and File, Edit, Capture, and then pull down on Capture, and we have several options: selection, or window, or screen, or timed screen. And so I'm going to choose selection. Okay, and so I see a dialog box here telling me what to do, and image of a camera. And so I'm going to drag that out of the way. And then I'm going to do what it told me to do, which is go up here somewhere and click and drag and capture this banner image up here at the top. And we get a camera sound there, and so there's the screen capture. It's not in any particular format yet, so one of the options you have when you start closing these is, do you want to save it as an image file? But all I'm going to do is do my copy command, Command C, and then go back to my Word document. And then I'm going to do the paste command, Command V. And there is the banner slapped in there on my page. I think I'm going to go ahead and go into my header and footer and just get rid of that. It's not going to really change things here, but so now we have our banner up on top. And if you wanted to, you could reduce some of the top margin. And then we're going to go back to our web page and kind of take a look at what else we can do. Okay, so I see up here at the top, I'm going to kind of skip this little text up here for now. But I see review and the heading and the subheading. I'm going to see if I can just for sake of ease of use here, copy that and go back to my Word document and paste that in here. The text is pretty huge, so I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Okay, so also, I've copied their headline, but I was going to basically make this text look like that. And but by copying it and pulling it in, I can see what the font was. It's Arial. So down here where I've got my headline, I use a funky font in the Mac called Skia. I just like the way it looks. But if I was going to make this look like the Rolling Stone, then I would go back and make it Arial. Okay, and then I see that their title, their headline, is to the left. So let's see if I can align it to the left. Looks like for some reason it wants to stay in the center. There we go. Okay. And maybe instead of SA3, I'm going to say review. And then I'm going to bring that headline back up. And this was 22 point. So I'm going to take this and make it 22 point. Yeah, let me go down to 20 just so it'll fit on a line. So maybe at this point, get rid of their headline and move mine up here on top. Okay, so I'm trying to make it look like their review. Okay, back over here, I do see that I've got some social media links. Don't think I'm going to put those in right now. You can do that type of work on your own. But let me do one thing here. I know that with images, I don't have to do a screen grab. I can do copy image. And then I can go back to my document and paste that image. So suddenly, my Word document is starting to look more and more like the website. So maybe I'll just leave off this stuff that's on the sidebar. But we've got a reasonable facsimile of it at this point. And scrolling down through the review, let me try something else here. I don't know what typeface this is, but I'm just going to guess at it. So in my document, get rid of the basic task. Maybe that would have been my byline. But I'm going to assume that it's Times New Roman, which is a pretty common typeface. So let me go ahead and go down to that. Okay, so I don't know if I nailed it, as we say in the biz, or not, but I did get that in here. I also notice on this particular review, sometimes we see in websites that they emulate a lot of magazine design with what we call a dropped cap at the beginning. So let me go ahead and show you that little trick real quick. And so I'm going to take this C here, and I've forgotten exactly where it is in my toolbar. I didn't prepare for this part, but maybe it's under design. No, it's under insert instead. So let me choose my text here, my C, and insert drop cap. And we have two options here. We can have it dropped into the text or dropped into the margin. So sometimes, that's a feature of magazine layout design, and we could possibly include something like that. So looking down further, I see related reviews, but I don't see much else at the end of this review. So, but we're going to try to emulate and represent this as much as possible. So now I've got it as a Word document. Let me give it a different name because I don't want to lose it. Okay, so now I'm going to save it as a PDF. And it's going to take all those visual elements and lock them into place. And you don't think this is necessarily such a big deal, but for one thing, pagination is printer dependent. So the fact that I have a different printer than you guys may have actually affects the layout of the document, and things that you thought were going to be at the top of page 2 sometimes jump back onto the bottom of page 1 or something, and so that can really screw up, layout on a document. So with documents like this involving visuals, when you get to a final draft, I recommend that you save it as a PDF. Okay, so let's go take a look at what it looks like in a PDF viewer. Okay, so this is just the preview program on my Mac. But what I wanted you to see is no matter how big I make this screen, we tend to have almost no margin on this. And so it looks more and more like a web page. And make it as big as the screen. And so looks less and less like a Word document. And so that's kind of the final effect that we're going for with this assignment. So but in doing so, we have to think about where we're publishing this, who our audience is, what the look and feel of the document is, try to recreate their ethos as a document, and again, showing you much of this now just to get you thinking about it, make you aware of it, but again, as much as possible, we're going to focus on developing the written essay, the review, up until the rough draft stage, and then we'll work on converting it to a multimodal document after that. Okay, so let me go back and review some of my notes. Okay, so some common features of these online review sites that you should pay attention to, that they have a website banner and top-level navigation bar at the top of the screen. We see a title and headline. We oftentimes see a subheading. We see use of color and graphics. We see use of images and videos. We see product images fairly often, product details, usually kind of a quick view summary of the evaluation and review. Use of familiar rating system like stars or eggs or tomatoes or what have you. So, okay, and so we're going to create this in a Word document, work on the written text, and then we'll start working on marking it up visually and inserting screen captures into the document. Then we're going to save it as a PDF, and when we look at it in a PDF viewer, it's going to look remarkably like a website. Okay, and so reminder on how to do screen captures on a PC and a Mac, and the process: screen capture copied, and then we paste it, You might have to crop the image, and then we must save it as a Word document and then as a PDF to lock the visual elements into place. So I think those are all my comments. That's my lecture for now. Good luck thinking about this assignment. Look for another lecture from me shortly, talking more about the overall structure and development of the document. Okay, thank you for listening.